Good morning. It's a little better. I feel like I'm staring into the sun. Good morning and happy Friday. It's Friday, getting done on Friday. Everybody's looking for the weekend. Now the song's gonna be in my head. I wonder whatever happened to that young girl. So good morning. Today is day 23 of we've been following along with the Abundance Book. Good morning. Abundance Book, John Randolph Price. First, I want to say thank you to all the new people who have been friend requesting me. Because M. Rain was talking about, if you want to see some nudity, go see Debbie Maisha. I'm like, yes. And sex talk and sexuality and sensual stuff, go see Debbie Maisha. Yes, all of that is true. You won't see as much of it here because I was banned all summer for that shit. So Instagram is where I'm allowed to be more of me and less censored. So thank you to all of my new followers and new friends. I'm grateful to have you here. Thank you to M. Rain for always supporting. She's amazing. Please go check her out. So today, I actually did intend to speak on, well, first of all, if you've been watching these lives long enough, I don't actually intend to speak on anything. I literally get up, I get my mind right. I'll look at the phrase of the statement, and then as I'm typing, day whatever, it will come to me. But this morning was a little different because, I'm reading this book, Mary Magdalene Revealed. I've been reading it for quite some time, and so I've gotten back into it so I can finish it because it's really good. So I was reading this book, Mary Magdalene Revealed by Megan Watterson, and I highly suggest it for everyone. It talks about a lot Mary Magdalene. And my intention is to do this one with no tears because I was crying earlier today. I'm gonna read from it and explain how it ties into the phrase for today and trauma in the body. So today is day 23, it's statement 3. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. I'll read it again. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I am why can't I get this word out today? I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. I swear I can read y'all. So if you haven't been following, please feel free to go back and look at the other videos. And I'm also uploading them to YouTube, albeit slowly right now. So to know and to understand, to be conscious of this inner presence, the I am, the divine within you. This is what we're saying. We are conscious of the inner presence of the divine I am as our lavish abundance, as the source of all of that. I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity. I know that it's always working, always working. Therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. So this week, I'm focusing on health and fitness. Apparently, each week I focused on a theme. And this week, it's health and fitness and wellness and such. Hopefully, I can move this without. I gotta be comfortable on my bed, y'all. And so. So part of wellness and the abundance of wellness is, the first thing that comes to my mind is knowing that we are perfectly made. Part of health and wellness and the connection with the divine I am is knowing that we may have had experiences that have caused us that had the potential to destroy parts of us. And so in response, we were gifted, our bodies gifted us the divine consciousness gifted our egoic selves with 3 gifts: the ability to fight, the ability to flee, and the ability to freeze. The soul, our soul self doesn't know of this, right? Because remember, our soul is just like, it's whatever, man. You know? It doesn't need to eat. It doesn't need to fuck. Like, it's whatever, man. that's that piece of us. But the human egoic self that we come into needs safety, needs to eat, needs to fuck, maybe, and for some folks maybe not, but for most of us, but it's that safety piece that I want to talk about today. So why is this important? Because when we go through experiences and we don't deal with them or handle them, that trauma gets stuck in our bodies. The trauma lands in our cells. It can shift our energetic vibration, cause us to gain weight, and then we inexplicably don't know how to lose it. That trauma can cause us to begin abusing drugs, alcohol, sex, anything. That trauma, and that trauma will cause us to act in unconscious ways in an effort to block out the pain of the experience that we went through as a safety mechanism. I often tell stories about myself on here. Not really, I really don't like talking about me, but my hope is that in my story, because we are all connected, you can see a piece of you. Thank you for the hearts. My hope is that in my story, you can see a piece of you. And so then whatever it is that you think I may have learned from or grown from, you can know that it's all the possibility. So I know I'm gonna cry. And not from the incident itself, but from the freedom that I got this morning. So I want you to know that. So I've experienced sexual assault. There were several, let me start off by saying, I know I'm a sensual person. Like, I'm very clear, no matter how crazy you think I may sound, I'm very clear that I was made from something extremely primordial. I'm very clear about that. And I appreciate my mother for being the vessel that gave space for me to come into this realm. I'm very clear that I am connected to Lilith and that line of women. I'm very clear that Isis was one of my teachers of sex magic. So I was coming into this realm a sensual, sexual human being, regardless of what happened to me. I was primed for that. The experiences that I have had, I believe, for me, were to help me see all of the sides of this dynamic. The beauty of sensuality and of making love to someone, and the ugly of misguided lust and misguided power and the need to force someone and take that energy from another. And I believe I've experienced that because it was part of my journey to come teach and show all of the spectrum of this to women and to help men to understand the feminine. So I want to say that first. So I've had experiences throughout my life with a variety of boys and men, some of which some of you might have seen as traumatic, some of which I was like, really, did that just happen? Why is he humping on me like this? And you know, I was always the girl that was somehow the wife when we played house and was always engaged in some doctor thing and kissing, touching, whatever have you. Not a problem. I don't mind any of that stuff. 3 incidences. I in the 6th grade, twice, 2 different boys tried to rape me, and and one time in high school. In those 3 situations, I fought. Like, I literally fought. I was 11. And I remember, I can remember these 3 incidences I can remember without feeling the trauma in my body at all. You know, I remember the boy, I remember his name, I remember all three of their names. And I remember he literally tried to pin me down on a desk in a classroom, in an empty classroom. And I remember him being on top of me, trying to do things. What I remember is me literally biting him on his skull so hard. Like, he had a little short fro. I could taste the grease, his hair grease in my mouth, and his hair in my mouth. That's how hard I clamped down on his skin. And when he got up and yelled, and I want to swear he called me a bitch. I think he did. I remember running down the stairs and having to pee so bad because I was so scared. Right? So that was number one. Number two was a different boy, same class. Both of these boys were my boyfriends, by the way. So you can see how this can set up some things. Like, y'all understand when I talk to you about, you know, how the things that we go through and the connections our bodies and minds make and experiences that we had when we're younger and how that can affect us later on. So these were both boys that were supposed to be my boyfriends that I thought liked me, right? And this is what happened. So imagine at 11 years old how that starts to twist your brain. The second boy, again, attempted to have sex with me. And, you know, and I'm telling these boys no, right? And I know, I do not think or feel that these boys were evil or bad. What I know is that any misguided sexual energy has the opportunity to become perverted. Boys who do not have someone to talk to about that, I don't care if it's a mother, a father, an uncle, an aunt, don't understand at 11, 12, and 13 what this is, what this dynamic is. So it wasn't like they went into going, I'm gonna rape her. You understand? I want to be clear on this. They're boys. What they're thinking is, I like her, she likes me. You know, we're gonna have sex, and I don't understand. I don't understand. Come on, like I know you want this. Like, this is not. No one's having these conversations with them. So I'm not looking back on them like, oh my God, the patriarchy, right? They're boys, and who's to know if one of them had not been sexually assaulted as well? By the way, because that happens to a lot of boys who go on to do things in an attempt to regain their power, and they've never told anyone about what happened to them. And these are not excuses, these are understandings of where people are coming from before we start pointing fingers. So anyway, the second boy, yeah, you know, again, same thing. I'm pushing him like, no, you know, no. And finally I shove him because I wasn't to be trifled with, y'all. Okay, I am very, but I will fuck you up. Okay? So I shoved him. Most of my fights have been with boys. So I shoved him and he fell backwards into the bathtub because our school was like in a house, in an old house, like a townhouse. And, you know, and I went out and I ran out the bathroom. So that was second grade. The more dangerous, when I look back on it, was high school. And this particular boy did have some issues. And as it turned out, he attempted to physically assert himself on more than one girl. We all never knew about it. And eventually, I believe he was kicked out of the school. These are all private schools, by the way. It's all black folks in private schools. But this particular boy did get kicked out of the school, I believe, for sexual assault. I'm not sure. Because he was a year younger than me, so I'd already graduated. That particular incident, I fought as well, but he was stronger and he was bigger than me, and that was rough. That would have been a hard one. What saved me was two students. We were in a black student union. I went to private school, boarding schools. It's all white folks. And but we had our black student union for like the 25 of us that were on campus. It's probably not, it wasn't even that many probably. I don't know. But anyway, two other students walked into the room. And so I was able to get away. For sure, I would not have been able to fight him. He was a football player. He was bigger. like that would have been a rough one. But I was fighting him until they walked in. The actual incident of me being sexually assaulted. So remember I said that we were gifted with fight, flight, or freeze. And apparently as I was reading Mary Magdalene this morning, I realized I've experienced all three. The actual experience of me being sexually assaulted took place in a relationship. And I froze. I'm not going to go into all the details because of who the person was. But I will, this basic scenario was, he was very upset. I don't remember what we argued about. He was, walking around with a knife. I thought I was going to die. I really thought he was going to stab me. I thought in a rage, he was just going to, what else do you think when someone's walking around and it's like, they're like a caged animal, just like looking at you, like, and they're just twirling this knife around. Like, you really are thinking, oh, I'm about to die right now. And I've been in situations where I thought, am I going to die? Like, I had to walk through the woods once when I was 10. I didn't really know where I was going. And I was scared. And I was like, am I going to die? But this was like, oh, okay. And so the circumstances being what they were, I remember becoming very calm and just trying to think about the best way for me to die without leaving the most amount of mess and trauma to those who are around. Like, how can I do this? How can I do this in the best way? This is what's flowing through my mind. There's no fight, because I knew I couldn't fight him. That wasn't going to happen. I was going to lose. There was no flee. I wasn't going anywhere. And so the only thing left for my body to do was freeze, which is what I did. And so knowing that the only way to calm him down and perhaps put the knife down and not think about, I'm thinking he's going to stab me, and I don't know, is let me have sex with this dude. And so then I won't die, because I know then he's not going to be thinking about trying to kill me. So that was my experience. I went through therapy, and it's cognitive behavioral therapy, where you tell the story over and over and over again, because it's part of a way to release the holding on to it in your body. Because what happens with people who go through those experiences, it always feels like there's like tar or sludge or this that's like on you. Not to mention any other feelings of guilt or shame or all the other things, and I continued that relationship for some time after. And why would I do that? And what the hell is wrong with me? And all of these things, right? Which I've, reconciled. But let me tell you about this morning and then how that applies to the statement for today. So I'm reading this directly out of this book, by the way. A cheetah is stalking a herd of impala. As if one unified and entirely connected mass, the herd senses the cheetah at the same moment and begins to flee at top speed. A young impala falters and gets delayed just for a split second. But that's enough time for the cheetah to pounce. At the moment of contact, the impala falls to the ground as if instantly struck dead, but it isn't. And it isn't pretending to be dead either. It has fallen into an instinctive and involuntary altered state of consciousness shared by all mammals when death appears imminent. Physiologists call this state the immobility state or the freezing response. The other two responses to extreme situations of impending doom are fight and flight. These two states are very well known and researched, but this third state is less known, and little is understood about this altered state of immobility. But nature has developed it for two main reasons. First, it serves as a last-ditch effort to survive. The impala in its altered state is dragged back to a tree in the shade, and thinking the impala is dead, the cheetah is not on alert. So with its guard down while turning its back, the impala can leap up, shake off the effects of the immobility response, and escape. The second reason is that while in this altered state, the impala can't feel any pain. It's a prehistoric function developed so that in our last moments we die before we're even killed. And the author says, it is not under our conscious control. It's about energy and the nervous system. Humans and animals share this same capacity to play possum. The difference is that the impala can simply shake off the experience to release the energy of the trauma without a storyline or subsequent systems. Humans, though, especially with this third response to trauma, can develop PTSD and anxiety disorders from the energy of the death being trapped in the body. A quote from Waking the Tiger says, "This residual energy does not simply go away. It persists in the body and often forces the formation of a wide variety of symptoms." The author goes on to say about her own experience of her own assault. I had tears streaming down my face. It was all beginning to make sense because I was beginning to understand what was keeping me from healing. I had never been able to reconcile the feisty, brave, and precocious girl I was before the assault, and then the fact that I didn't fight, didn't scream, didn't move. I wept as my therapist reached for the tissues and set them beside me. And she says, now I understood. I did fight back. I froze. I froze because I ardently believed I wouldn't survive the assault. I died before I could be killed. I froze because the animal instinct in me kicked in and it saved me from having to experience the pain. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I hadn't failed. I had saved my own life. And so I apologize if this is, I guess I'll put I don't do trigger warnings because here's the thing. If you're triggered, then you'll stop watching. If you're triggered, it's a sign you need to heal. I might put one up anyway. What made me cry at this is the understanding of the power that I have and the understanding of the power that we all have and how beautifully we react to situations of trauma that happen to us. How beautifully we have these gifts within us that want to protect us and keep us sane, even in the face of enormous pain. That our psyche will go into its own state of shock in order to ensure that we're okay in the moment. But then, it is up to us to begin to unravel what has been stuck in our body. That this gift of the freeze in order to protect us was only meant for the moment. And it wasn't meant to be carried out with every other person who comes into our life and our space. That we are not meant to keep that guard up with every other person that we encounter. And we weren't meant to make it habitual. But unlike the impala, we don't have the ability to just get up and go, okay, that was some fuckery, and run off. It stays in us. And it can manifest itself as heart disease, as cancer, as thyroid issues, as hypertension, as diabetes, as depression, as anxiety, as bipolar disorder, as all kinds of things that happen. Because energy is energy, and it is neither created nor destroyed. So I have had to work through the energy of that freeze. That has taken me some time, and there's still some tidbits in there that I'm sure I am still working through. But I want you to understand that if you found yourself in that position and you froze and you're wondering, what was wrong with me? There was nothing wrong with you. You were protecting yourself by dying within, so that the pain of the experience wouldn't destroy you. You did exactly what your body was designed to do. You did exactly what it needed to do. You saved your life. But now, you are still here, and now is the time for you to understand and be conscious of the inner presence, not just as your lavish abundance, but of your safety and your healing. To be conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite love, wellness, wholeness. To know that your consciousness is filled with the light of truth, and the truth of which is that you are at your core, because you are connected directly to the Creator, directly to divinity, because you are that in human form. You are already whole. You are already wellness and healing personified. That this infinite mind of abundance gave you ways to handle and deal with painful situations that came into your life, like that you were given these options of what to do, and that this infinite mind trusted that you would know in which situations and circumstances to fight, to flee, or to freeze. That any of those three decisions were the right ones for you instinctually, and that you knew exactly what to do. And so there's nothing wrong with you if you didn't choose the fight. There's nothing wrong with you if you didn't choose to flee. Everything is right with you if you chose freeze. And to know that now is the time for you to begin to release that you don't have to hold on to it anymore. It was only for that moment. It was only for that time. And that you have within you the ability to allow that energy to disperse itself through so many ways. So many ways. I'm one of those ways, but so many ways. But now that it's time for you to let it go. To let it go. You were not meant to hold on to that trauma in your body for the rest of your life. Nor does that trauma need to define who you are, because it doesn't. It doesn't. You are so much more than that, because you are all of this. That was a painful experience. But so much of the rest of your life is waiting for you. So much joy and bliss and excitement and lust and sensuality and connection and friendship and love and beauty are all for you to experience too. So I did not want to talk about this today. And I did not want to be so heavy. And so I can't close it off like that. I can't close it off like that. I had to let that disperse for me, because while it was important to get out, and I will put a warning up there that this is what the subject matter is, just in case. But it's interesting to me that I'm discussing this on a Friday, when this is Venus Day and it's Lover's Day, and that to me, like I told you about my throat chakra, and I'm gonna get off shortly. That to me, this health and wellness is always so tied to our mind. Like, our body isn't separate. When we're looking to live healthier and more vibrant lives, it's not separate from our mind. And it's also not separate from our sensuality and our sexuality. It's not separate from, like, it's all intertwined. We cannot put things in little boxes and categories. It is all intertwined. It's all together. You know, that's why it's like mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever. Your health and wellness isn't just about you dropping 15 pounds. Though that's my goal for this quarter. But your health and wellness isn't just about you dropping weight. It's about you dropping weight. Weight. It's not just about your physical. Your health and wellness is about your ability to be in your body and feel every sensation and experience that needs to happen. To feel your clothes, to feel your skin, to dip into the movement of yourself. Your health and wellness is not just about keeping your blood pressure numbers low. It's also just about feeling into every single day and allowing yourself to just feel into each breath that you take and letting that expand in your body. Like I said the other day, it's about learning to feel in your body. Literally feeling into your body. So on this Friday, this Venus Day, this Lover's Day, I encourage you to make love to yourself in however way you want to. Okay? That could be as exciting as you grabbing out that big toy and going to town. Men, that's you too. There's toys for men. I'm just saying. And going to town. It could be as simple as you making a salad for yourself. That's love. That's self-care. Yeah? Don't make it bigger than it needs to be. Do something today to show you that you love you. Even if it's just dancing around. Move the energy. Feel into it. You deserve it. All right, I'm going to go finish drinking my drink. This is what I do every day for my self-care. This is like 8 o'clock every morning. This is what I'm drinking. I'm going to go. I'll put that warning up there for the content. I want you all to feel into your love today. And I want you to have the absolutely most fucking abundant day you can possibly have. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.